Alright, so my friends, welcome to my set review for Alchemy. The MTG Arena only set, digital only cards. We're in a whole new format here. Things are going crazy. My full thoughts on that are in the first video in the series. If you missed it, it's on YouTube, or it will be on YouTube. I go over these format itself and all the banned and nerfed, or all the nerfed and buffed cards. And then we do white, black, blue, red. Now we're doing green. So there are 11 new green cards here, and we're going to go over each and every one of them, starting with our first card. But first, I want to remind you all, 5 new brews tomorrow for this Alchemy set, which is going to be super awesome. Subs on Twitch, YouTube members, hop in the Discord, sign up for your holiday card, to my sponsors, do all the good stuff. All right, let's go. First card here is Antique Collector. Cool card. 2 for a 2/2 Human Rogue. Rogue's important for possible party stuff. Can't be blocked by creature's power 2 or less. Sure. When it ETBs, creatures you control perpetually gain. When this creature dies, you may shuffle it into its owner's library if it's in your graveyard. If you do, investigate. So, pretty sweet card here. Basically says that whenever one of your creatures die, you get a clue. Creatures that are already in play when you cast it. So it's not really a 2-drop. It's more of like a turn 4 or turn 5 play. Give all your things as this ability. It is a perpetual ability, so that stays on forever, which is kind of cool. I don't know if that matters, I guess. It'll still, when it shovels back into your library and you draw it again, it'll still have the ability, which is kind of cool too. But yeah, kind of a cool card for your creature decks as far as playing its removal, playing a longer game, being able to grind. Again, a 2/2 for 2 is not super exciting, but has a little bit of a text on it for sure. And then the rogue typing might matter as well. Kind of a cool card. Not a huge player, but pretty cool one. Pretty cool one. I like it. Garrick, Wrath of the Wilds, our second Planeswalker, and it flies back. God damn it. 4 mana for a Planeswalker. 3 loyalty. +1, choose a creature card in your hand. It perpetually gains +1/+1. Perpetually gains, the spell costs 1 less to cast. So pretty cool. You can play this on turn 4. Plus it on the Vorinclex in your hand. Untap, cast it, plus again kind of thing. Pretty sweet. And powerful effects, but obviously not affecting the board, which is the thing. The minus ability does affect the board in a pretty interesting way here. Draft a card from Garrick, Wrath of the Wild's spellbook and put it directly onto the battlefield. So that's a big one. Because not only do you get to draft the card, but you put it into play as well. So let's go over our spellbook screen here and take a look. And what are the 15 cards in Garrick's spellbook? Again, new mechanic if you don't know what it does. There are 15 cards in Garrick's spellbook. We're going to look at them right now. And whenever you are instructed to draft one from a card, the mechanic picks 3 of these 15 cards at random, and you get to choose one. And that card will get the effect. So, what are the cards that might go into play for free from Garrick? We've got Mosscoat Goriak, 2/4 Vigilance. Honestly, a very good defensive creature. Brush Rider, 3/2, great defensive creature, gains life. Marasa Rootgazer, 2/3, some abilities as well. Prowler, 3 mana for a 2/2. Not great, but fine. Ferocious Pup, another good blocker. It's fine. Pestilent Wolf, 2/2. Get that touch, sure. Garrick's Uprising, an enchantment here, which is kind of a cool option. It's a powerful card you don't want to actually cast, but if it's in play, it is good, which is pretty sweet. So that card's cool. Dawn Treader Elk, just a reasonable 2-drop. A little bit of utility. We got a Horn Beetle, same thing. Scythe Cat, same thing. Truffle Snout. There's a lot of middling 2 and 3 mana creatures that are all okay, but not great on rate. Skirwood Colony. Barkhide Troll is actually very good on rate. And then Undark Basilisk as a 1/2 Death Toucher. So, most noticeable thing here is that almost all of these cards defend pretty well. So, let's just say on average, when you -1 Garrick, you get, say, a 2/3 creature. It's obviously a lot of things in that ballpark, 2/4, a 3/2, an 0/1 and a 2/2, whatever. But the reality is that a Planeswalker that comes into play and minuses and makes a decent sized body like that is pretty sweet. And they can do it again next turn, and then it can start plussing and do other stuff too. So pretty cool Planeswalker as far as creature creation is, and really utilizing the spellbook mechanic in this kind of interesting way to kind of make this token making. Planeswalkers make tokens, it makes actual cards, which is pretty cool. A lot of variety there. Again, I was very, very low as mechanic when I first saw it, but it's kind of growing on me. It seems pretty sweet. So, cool Planeswalker. And the ultimate just Overrun. 5 mana Overrun. until end of turn, which is like not super exciting, but fine. So pretty cool card. Can turn out some threats, can ramp you a little bit, can pump things up a little bit. Not exactly sure what deck wants. It feels like kind of like a niche, like one of, maybe two of Planeswalker, maybe a sideboard card for the green deck against control decks. But pretty sweet. Pretty sweet card. Definitely, it's kind of cool. I'm looking forward to the spellbook stuff. Up next is Geist Pack Alpha. 4 mana for a 5/4 trample. When it dies, seek a permanent card with mana value equal to a number of lands you control. This card's weird because if it just said 5/4 trample for 4, when it dies, draw a spell, that's really good. That's really good. The problem is, as the game goes on, you play more lands. Do you have a 5-drop in your deck? Do you have a 6-drop in your deck? A 7-drop? Are you going to keep playing lands? Are you not going to play lands? You know, kind of a weird card in that respect where you're not always sure what you're getting out of it. Despite the rate being quite good, a 5/4 trample that draws a card when it dies. This card is pretty interesting. Also important to note that you can sort of tutor a bit here too. If you only have one 6-drop in your deck, only have one 7-drop in your deck, you're going to draw it every time. Again, the seek mechanic is, seek basically means to draw a card from a subset of cards. So seek a permanent card, mana value equal to whatever. We'll draw a random card from your deck that's a permanent with a mana value of X. If there's only one Vorinclex in your deck, that's the only permanent that costs 6, you will draw it every time. So kind of an interesting build-around-y card here. It's also pretty good on rate. It's kind of weird gameplay-wise because I'm not sure how it's going to scale up as the game goes on. But very, very solid card. I mean, very, very solid card for sure. Trades off well, draws a spell. It's a cool one. It's a cool one. It's not equal or less. It's equal to. So, interesting. Interesting. And it is true that, like, it will always curve where I play this on turn 4. I attack with it. If they block and trade, I'm drawing a 5-drop. I can cast it immediately, which is pretty cool, too. So, cool card. I think it seems pretty good. Interesting deck building constraints, but pretty cool card. Pretty cool card. All right. I'm gonna try and parse this one for y'all. I'll do my best. Huntmaster, green 1, 4/3, human warrior, decent stats. When Grizzled Huntmaster enters the battlefield, you may exile a creature card from your hand. If you do, search your hand and library for any number of cards with the same name as that creature card. Exile them. Then shuffle. Choose a creature card you own from outside the game. Conjure a duplicate of that card into your hand for each card exiled from your hand this way. What? So basically, when you play this, you can exile a creature from your hand. If you want, you can exile the other creatures from your deck. So if you have like some creature that's like not good in a matchup, I guess, or whatever. And then you can choose a creature card from outside the game, which would be in your sideboard. And you can conjure a duplicate of that card for each card from your hand that was exiled this way. Sort of like a really, really awkward Living Wish that basically just swaps a creature in your hand for a creature in your sideboard. Of course, sideboard space is limited. You know what? I'm done with this card.
Get off my
I don't want to try this anymore. I'm done. Up next is Hinderland Chef. We got a sleeper, folks. 3/3, 4/3, human scout. Reasonable. Whenever it enters the battlefield, draft a card from the spellbook. It perpetually becomes a food artifact in addition to other types and gains the food ability. So basically, we say 3/3 for 3 comes into play and draws you a spell. But of course, what's that spell going to be? Well, let's hop on over to our handy dandy spellbook guide here and take a look. So, it could be the Brushwag. Not very good, but it's a creature, honestly. Sandwalla. Same idea. Not great, but fine. Moss Viper, same idea. Not great, but fine. Brush Strider, 3-1, sure. Highland Game, 2-1 when it dies, gain some life. Iron Shell Beetle, same idea, just 2-2 for the most part. Lotus Cobra, fancy. Nectar Pot, random creature. Gilded Goose, random creature, but obviously good. Horn Beetle, Colony, Boar. Sprout, pretty good card. Spore Crawler, pretty good card. Moldegraph Millipede, fine card. So, none of these cards are particularly great, but once again, you can think about these spellbook mechanics kind of like lesson learned, where you're drawing a card off your 3/3/3, which is pretty good. And then the card you get, it may not be a full card, but it's still like 2/3 of a card. And that's pretty reasonable, honestly. That's pretty reasonable. You know, it's a random like 3-1 Bust Rider or whatever is fine. And then a little extra value here. Obviously, it's an artifact. Obviously, it can sacrifice to gain some life, which is kind of fine. You know, obviously, Lotus Culprit, Gilded Goose, Death Bonnet Sprout are all reasonable cards as well. Just good value. It's just good value. These spellbooky cards, it's just sort of like the learn cards, are just good value. It is a Gilded Goose that can sack itself for mana, which is pretty freaking funny, actually. So this not an amazing card, just a really solid value card. Just a really solid value card. If there's any value in putting artifacts in play, but that's a thing as well. Just a solid card. I just like it. I like it. I'm calling it a sleeper. I'm not sure. Maybe it's not good. Maybe it is good, but I think it's a lot better than it looks. I think it's a lot better than it looks. Up next is Holohands Wrangler. And
It's a trap.
5 mana for a 6/6, which is pretty good. EDB's Seek a Land card. It's a pretty good rate, honestly. It's a 6/6 for 5. It comes into play and draws a card. That's not bad at all. Discard a land card. Conjure a card named Holohands Beast into your hand. That is a 5 mana vanilla 4/4 common. You may also activate this ability when Holohands Wrangler is in your graveyard. So basically, you can discard a land and get a random 5 mana 4/4 whenever this thing's in play or in the graveyard. And that's fine. That's all well and good. But the reality here is this is just a 6/6 that draws a land for 5. And that's like, I'm sorry, it's a 5/5. You're right, it's a 5/5. That's just like not that good. You know, we're competing with Ren and 6 here. Ren and 7, sorry. We're competing with Goldspan Dragon. We're competing with just Chariot and cheaper cards in general. You know, randomly casting 5 mana 5/5s, again, similar to Lesson Learned, is like, it's not bad because it's like free material, sort of, but also not very good either. I think this card is kind of a bust. I just don't think it does enough. It's fine. It's got some value to it, but I think it looks really cool and does some cool stuff. But all in all, it's just kind of unexciting. I'm not really super about it. It is super cool if you mill this and load your hands up with lands. But the thing is that, like, it's not like you're going to mill this, load up on lands, and gain some huge advantage. Like, you're going to discard a land and draw a 5 mana 5/5 common. And then you're going to cast your 5 mana 5/5 common. And, like, you can do that. Is that going to win you a game in a standard format? I mean, maybe, you know, like, I guess, you know, like, if the game's super, super grindy. But it is very Odyssey-like. I do agree. Very, very Odyssey-esque card. And I think back when Odyssey was legal in standard, this card would have been really, really good. But we're looking at freaking, you know, Goldspan Dragon, Alrund's Epiphany, Seeker's Chariot, Ren and 7, Elite Spellbinder, just, you know, just beating the crap out of you. Randomly casting some 5 mana 5/5s does not sound very exciting. Oh, in drafts, it'd be absurd. Absolutely absurd. But all in all, not super excited by this card. I think it's pretty overrated. Moving on to Ishkana Broodmother. And I'm taking a shot here. Again, these cards are really, really hard to evaluate. We're going to go best in show. 4 mana for a 3/5 with reach is a very, very reasonable body. Good defensive body, blocks Goldspan Dragon, blocks other dragons, hard to kill burn spells. decent size. The Spider, Anthem parts, whatever. But the big part here is, of course, 2 mana, exile 2 cards from your bin, and draft a card. That's 2 mana, effectively draw like 2/3 of a card, which is very, very powerful. Now, what cards are we drawing here? Well, once again, let's pop on over to our spellbook and take a look. What are we drawing here? We're going to draw Twin Silk Spider. So, 3 mana for 2/1/2s, sure. Dryder, not very good. Not very good. Broodweaver, solid card, solid defensive card. Recluse, again, solid defensive card, nothing exciting but fine. Recluse, solid defensive card, nothing exciting. Hatchery Spider, actively pretty good card, honestly, albeit expensive. Mammoth Spider, okay, sure. Netcaster Spider, reasonable blocking, defensive blocker. Sentinel Spider, reasonable defensive blocker. Share Spinner, same idea. Shortcap Spider, same idea. Spidery Grasp, I mean, sure. Spider Spawning, a little more build around it than probably possible. Prey Upon is actively fine. And then Arc or whatever form is also fun. So, none of these cards are great, but they're all really solid defensive cards. And you play your solid defensive cards and sit behind your card draw engine here. 2 mana draw card over and over and over again. And you just grind like crazy. And again, just because the cards you're drawing aren't great doesn't mean they're not actual cards. Like a 3/3 for 3 or whatever, or 2/4 for 3 or whatever. It's fine. It's not great, but it's a card. You should keep playing more of them, keep playing more of them. And it's important to note, these aren't tokens. When that, Broodweaver or Twin Silk Spider dies, it's a card. It goes to the graveyard and then fuels your next activation on Broodmother. So I think this card's pretty freaking sweet. If you're playing like a grindy deck, and it's pretty sweet. Lumbernod, sure, it's cool. It's a cool idea. But I think this card's awesome. This card's really, really cool. I think everyone's going to appreciate how good the drafting a spellbook mechanic is. I think it's pretty good. So, card's nice. I like it. Lolith also makes spiders. That is true. Pretty sweet. So, cool card. It's our best in show. Up next is Lulpine Harbingers. 4 mana for a 4/4 trample haste. Kind of a cool card here. So you foretell this card, and it ETBs with plus and plus encounters on it, where X is the number of turns you've begun since it was foretold. So foretold on turn 2, cast it on turn 6 or 7. It's freaking huge. But this card is much worse than Uvenwald Oddity. Much worse. Like, same mana cost, same stats, same abilities. Far, far worse. That's all there is to it. Foretell on this card's cute and all, but randomly casting this for like 6 mana on turn 8 as like an 8/8, usually get counterspelled or doombladed or already be dead. Whatever. Not a very good card. It's cool. It's cute, but not a very good card. Ravenous Pursuit. 2 mana for a sorcery. Creatures you control deals damage equal to its power to a creature you don't control. Choose a creature card in your hand. It perpetually gains +X, where X is the amount of excess damage dealt this way. Cool card. So you fight your old growth troll on their elite spellbinder, and you choose a creature in your hand. It gets +3/+3 forever. That's cool. Super cool card. I like it a lot. Obviously, only really good in creature mirrors. It's not better than Blizzard Brawl, but cool card. Also requires you to actually have a creature in your hand for sure, but I love these perpetual effects. They're super, super cool. Yeah, it's a good punch. Psh, love it. Sweet card. Up next is Settle the Wilds. Green 1 sorcery. Seek a basic land card and put it on the battlefield tapped. So you get a random basic land from your deck and on the battlefield tapped. Then seek a permanent card with mana value equal to a number of lands you control. Again, similar to the Geist Pack Alpha. What a freaking weird card, because you have to have a huge spread of permanents across mana cost if you're playing a ramp spell. You're playing a ramp spell, you're kind of like planning on having like 6, 7, 8 lands in play. But this only gets a card of mana value equal. So you cast this and make your 7th land drop or 8th land drop. Do you have an 8 mana permanent in your deck? I don't know, do you? So Pretty weird card. Obviously, Thermatic Rampart is not very good. I think this one's pretty bad. It is also broken right now if you're playing it on Arena. It is bugged or something like that. But yeah, I think all in all, kind of a cute idea. It is technically, a card advantage. It's, a divination. You draw a land and then draw a spell. But I worry about this card on the later turns being dead. It just feels weird to me. I'm not sure. Kind of a weird card. Tenacious Pup is here. And Karn's not here right now, but killed it. 1/2 for 1 Wolf. When it ETBs, you gain a life. When you cast your next creature spell, whenever, like at any point, that creature enters the battlefield with a counter on it, a trample counter, and a vigilance counter. Kind of a cool card, obviously. It's a little underpowered by itself, so it's kind of like putting all your eggs in one basket. I cast this card on turn 1. I cast Werewolf Pack Leader on turn 2. They Blood Chief Thirst it, and now I have a 1/2 in play, which kind of sucks. But it's a wolf, it's a 1-drop, it's aggressive. Probably sees play on mono green. And then sizing up your Werewolf Pack Leader to a 4/4 on turn 2 is pretty powerful. It's pretty freaking good. So, not sure exactly how good this card is. I think that the body itself isn't great, but it's a cool card. Cool card. That's it. That's green. So, moving on to our last section, which will be the multicolored and colorless cards. YouTube folks, love you. Like, comment, subscribe. Anything you miss, folks, anything you miss is going to be on YouTube. All right? Hop on the YouTube. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you're on Twitch, make sure you follow. Check out my YouTube. Follow everything. And leave a comment. Let me know how wrong I am. All right? Let me know how wrong I am about all this stuff. All right? Thanks, YouTube. Appreciate it. Last section's coming up.